Alrighty, so today we're going to have something that's probably going to be pretty embarrassing and probably going to have a lot of people belittling me over not having any experience with this whatsoever. But, oh well, we're going to do it anyway. So, we don't have internet at our lake house. And I was looking at putting together a system that I can throw movies on a flash drive and take it up there for the kids to watch movies when we're up there. So I was looking at basic AMD motherboard, Ryzen 26 or 3600, just basic end stuff, and I'm still coming out to around $500-600 because I just can't bring myself to spend $100 on a RX 430 graphics card. It's a piece of crap. It's not worth the $100. So even with like base levels of like an RX 580 or 570, 2600 or 3600, I'm still looking close to 500. Plus, I have to decide on an OS. Windows 10 would be my most obvious choice, but that still does a lot more than what I need it to. Plus, it's going to be complaining about not having an internet connection. I remember both Linux Mint and Ubuntu require a persistent internet connection. Did some research to look, and from everything I can tell, they still do require a persistent internet connection just to function. So I started looking at OpenELEC, which is now LibreELEC, which is a Linux distro that just runs Kodi. And at that point, looking at still way more hardware than is needed, it happened to dawn on me, try a Raspberry Pi. Now, I know nothing about Raspberry Pis. I've always found them extremely confusing, and it's going to be kind of a rabbit hole that I know I'm probably going to break my first one and mess something up, but that's the most logical choice because it's under $100. I can just go with an SD card, and if Raspbian doesn't do what I need it to do, I can throw LibreELEC and it should run pretty easily. So I bought basically a dummy kit. This is the Cana kit. Raspberry Pi 4 starter kit includes a 32 gig Evo Plus SD card and a premium case. It does have 4 gigs of system memory. The 32 gig card is supposed to be pre-set up with Raspbian, and of course it is a kit. So we have 2 basic instruction sheets. We have 3 heat sinks. We have our USB-C power supply. We have our SD card. That is 32 gig Evo Plus SD card. It doesn't want to slide. There it goes. 32 gig Evo SD card. We have cooling fan that I have to install. Micro HDMI to HDMI cable, which is handy. We have a USB-C to C adapter. Interesting. Okay. We have our case. We have a USB micro SD card reader. We have our pi4 Model B. And we have quick start guide. So basically what I'm going to do now, I've already kind of looked the Pi over. That's why it's open. They did not send it to me open. So I'm going to read this thoroughly before I begin recording again. I'm going to read the full instructions, and then we're going to try assembling this and see how this goes. In theory it should be easy, but it is really driving anxiety through the wall trying to handle this. Okay, now this is the best I got. So we've got our system. Case is pretty basic. Pop the top off, pop the ring off. Okay. Put it in like that. And let's doesn't move. Okay. So now, so we can put it into one of two ports. We can put it into 4 and 6 for high-speed operation, or we can put it into 1 and 6 for low-speed operation. I'm going to put it into 1 and 6 for low speed. Right now, I'm going to leave the heat sinks off because I don't have pictures of what they go on, and I don't want to put them on something that I'm not supposed to. So I'm going to do some research online and figure out what exactly I would assume that it would go CPU, LPDDR4, and the gigabit controller, but I'm not 100%. Go ahead and drop this on the CPU. Hopefully you can kind of see, a little bit see what I'm doing here. That fits pretty perfectly. I think that's where that one goes. Red goes to the power, and black goes to the ground. Okay. Let's plug it into a monitor and see what it does. Alright, they're hooked up, and it should start booting when I plug it in, or explode. That means I either have the SD card, that means I gotta have the SD card in backwards, right? Fan works, that's good. Another way for the SD card to go in. And it's the SD card they sent me. The rainbow screen. Oh, hey, there we go. Now we got it. Oh, sweet. I'm going to go straight to that. I did not touch this memory card before putting it in here, so that it came with that already on it. That is awesome. if that was how I wanted to run this to begin with. This isn't going to be on the internet. So I need to... Alright, I put a couple episodes of Red Green on the Arion. I'm going to try rebooting. Hope that that'll get it to see it. I don't have a lot of time before I have to leave to go pick up the young'uns. Hoping I can knock this out quick. And now it's not doing it. And if I have to just copy stuff directly to the SD card, then that's what I have to do. I'd rather not. But, you know, I can always image this SD card to a bigger one. 32 gigs would still give me plenty of space. But I'd like to have a little bit more, plus higher transfer speeds. You ever wonder why I don't bother with Linux? Using FreeNAS or anything else, you're looking exactly at it. Because it's froze. Dead as a doornail. And I guarantee you, I'll never get the thing working right again. I almost guarantee you, no matter what I do, I won't get the thing working right again. That's how Linux always goes. So we are officially not functional. So I'm going to pause the video, leave it as is. If it hasn't come up by the time I get back, then I don't know. I don't know if we killed the Pi or killed the OS or what we did, but it's not doing anything. Okay, so here's where we're at on this thing, and it's being inherently frustrating. So, I was having the freezing in issues because I wasn't unplugging the flash drive before booting it up or shutting it down. So I cannot boot it up with the Arion attached, and I cannot shut it down with the Arion attached. Why it was not detecting it before, I don't know, but let's see if it does it now. Before, it was, let's see, I don't have a mouse, and I don't have a keypad, never mind, I just lost mouse and keyboard, and I don't have any power on there either. Okay, now I have power on the Arion. Okay. And it's not showing up. It's not showing up now. So before, this was working, and now it's not working again. So when y'all say you should just do a Raspberry Pi, it's so easy. No, it ain't. I'm having nothing but problems. Same thing. It's not showing up. It won't detect it. We're right back to where we were before. What the heck? I don't get it. I just don't get it. This was working. I was literally playing video files off of this drive. Yeah, it will not detect it. It also took 3 tries to boot it because it refused to boot. It's not there. It's just not there. Okay, then the bottom USB. It's got power, I know it sees it. The light's on. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So when I do a video on building a full-on Windows desktop for the lake when we have no internet and y'all are calling me stupid for not using Raspberry Pi, this is why. I'll link this in that video's description because I can't find anything on any forums. I can't find anything on Google. I can't figure out what keywords I need to try to trip Google's queue to figure this stuff out. At least we'll boot this time. And the other thing is that even if this, works, this is still going to be a big enough pain that I would have to be there in order to do it. So if I'm not there that weekend, trying to explain to one of the great aunts or somebody how this is supposed to work, it's not going to happen. It doesn't work. There's just nothing. And I just lost mouse and keyboard again. No power on the mouse and keyboard. Okay. So this is, I have power on the Arion. I don't have power on the mouse and keyboard. Mouse and keyboard are both gone. This is a freaking disaster. This is why it's been all these years and I haven't messed with a Raspberry. Nothing on the USB 3 ports. Nothing. Stone cold dead, no power. I'm just gonna call it. This isn't lovely little waste of money. Oh well. It honestly is not worth trying to return it to Amazon, because if it gets lost going back, it's just not worth it. Just keep it for display. There's nothing more that I can do with it. It's not even trying to read the memory card. Keep in mind, this version of LibreElect came on... Yeah, that's not even hot. That's not anywhere near enough to cause problems. This version of LibreElect came on the memory card that was included with the Pi, so it should not be any incompatibilities. So, when you ask why I don't use a Pi in my projects, that's why. Lovely. Alright, so for completeness, I did put Raspbian on here, and the Pi itself is performing without issue. I'm not having USB connections dropped anymore, but it still refuses to mount a flash drive. It refuses to mount the Aerion, and it refuses to mount the SanDisk that I've got. If I unplug them, it will say, if I unplug it, it will say drive was ejected, was removed without ejecting, use menu to eject before removal. I can't even find that. It's not anywhere in there. There's no option in any of the menus to eject a drive. And again, I obviously don't understand the right syntax of what I'm searching for in Google, because I can't find anything to answer this. So it'll be a cool display piece on the shelf, but that's going to be all the more use that this is to me, because I don't have any way of getting answers to what I'm missing, and I don't know what I'm missing. But this is how Linux always goes. It doesn't matter what distro I use or what purpose I use it for. It does not take long before I am completely lost, and I can't find the answers. I just don't understand how I don't, but it's apparently stuff you're just supposed to know. I do know that at one point this was being recognized in LibreElect without having to manually mount it or do anything else, and now it won't do it again. So I don't know. Now, if you're wondering why I don't just take a Blu-ray player, a smart Blu-ray player, and put the files on a flash drive and use it up there, it's because we've tried that before and we had essentially the exact same problems that we're having now. Inconsistent mounting of the flash drive, the player dropping the flash drive in the middle of a movie, nobody touching it, and it would just disappear. The player would just say, file not found, and tap the drive a little bit, it might work, it might not, reset the player, it might work, it might not, there's just zero consistency to it. So, looks like we'll be looking to build a micro ATX system to take up there, which is what I was probably figuring I'd end up doing anyway, because it works. It works. That's what I can say. It works. So, yes. We'll see you next time.